Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be watching this podcast on Stramash Media. This is the sports show, and we've got a packed show. We'll be talking about Scotland rugby. We'll be talking about the Celtic Rangers debacle, where the police, politicians, and everyone with their salts had a say on the overspill onto the pitch. Aberdeen have got a new manager. What do we make of this? We'll be talking to the guys about that and the predictions, Scottish football, and the quiz from Glenn. Good evening, gentlemen. How are we all doing?
Fine and dandy. Very
well. Fine and dandy. Right. Before we go any further, because it's a packed show, Glenn, we had a question from last week that we were stumped upon. We gave our answers, but you didn't want to give out the correct answer until today. So what was the question and how close
we left it hanging. So which club have won the Scottish Cup twice at their home stadium?
Yeah. I said Celtic.
Yeah, you went Celtic. Chris, I can't recall which way you went.
I went Motherwell.
Motherwell. And David, do you want to hazard a guess?
Whilst I was watching, I would have agreed with Celtic. I can't think anyone else, but I'm a bit to prove wrong, I reckon.
It's actually Queen's Park.
Oh,
so you did mention that last week, kind of thing, as one of the options. What it was is they had it hammed in the first 2 years, and they won the first two. And then basically they said everybody else complained and said, no, that's not fair. They've got they've got home advantage, so they moved it.
Well, because I thought Hampden closed down at some point in its history for refurbishment, and it went to Celtic Park, but obviously not.
Well, for about 40 years, they moved it around. I mean, when in 1876 they moved it to Hamilton Crescent. Okay, that's a cricket ground in Partick, and that was actually the home of the first international football match, Scotland-England.
Mm-hmm.
So when it doubled as a cricket and a football pitch kind of thing, as lots of grounds did back in the day. Some were shinty pitches too.
Yeah, exactly. Well, let's get stuck into sports. Well, first of all, Glenn, can we get a question to kick us off? Because
huge weekend of rugby. Okay, normally you were a wee bit biased, and we love our football, and we do all the other sports, etc. But surely, the big event this weekend is the Six Nations. So, we've got a rugby question. Scotland won their last championship in 1999 in similar circumstances to this weekend's deciding fixture list, when they beat France in Paris, but they had to rely on which country beating England to secure the title.
Oh, well, it couldn't have been
Italy. I watched it live, I remember.
Yeah, it couldn't have been Italy because they weren't there.
That's right, yeah. It was the Five Nations, yeah. So we're still the reigning champions.
So,
I'll go Wales.
I'd say Wales as well.
Yep.
Wales.
You guys are off the flyer. It is. It was gone. It was gone 18 minutes. Okay, and Wales, as the clock ran down, Wales scored a try, and they had to score the conversion to win by 1 point. I was lying on my flat, thumping the ground. It was amazing because England were the favourites anyway. Yeah. So spot on, guys.
Well,
off the flyer.
That's a good one. Right, let's get into this. Chris, we've got Ireland tomorrow. We've earned that right after the disaster against Italy. By the way, the disaster, it wasn't quite a disaster against Italy because we still picked up a point because we didn't lose by 8 points. So we got something out of that match. And England didn't. So where are we now? Where is Scotland? Are they viable candidates for the championship, or are we doomed for failure?
Well, I mean, we might do a Scotland, but I think the obvious point I'm going to make is I'm astounded that we're there after the first game. I was thinking that maybe Townsend might get ousted halfway through the campaign.
We all did.
That would be it. Yeah, but we're all pretty much in agreement. But I'm astounded, and I don't know how much it's up to him, or whether the players have just, at that time, they were getting beat, I think 30-0 at half time. They've just said, right, we'll take it for here, Greg. But whatever they've done, in a lot of ways, you can say that the Wales game was probably the biggest challenge, because they hadn't really been, they weren't really sure what was going to happen after that, because they'd done the usual beating England. So yeah, I mean, I'm just grateful to be there, to be honest. But I definitely think we've got a decent chance, due quite a lot to our discipline, to be honest. I know that's a simple thing, but in the past, you just been, why are we players short? And so I think discipline's going to be key.
I think it will. David, we fronted up really well against the French. They're an attacking side. They proved that against Wales and Ireland when they played them. Scotland nullified it by brute strength, a good scrum, and Finn Russell couldn't be tamed. We need more of that tomorrow. Can we do it?
Absolutely. The whole team and Finn Russell were just fantastic. If you had said to me before the game they scored 50 points, I'd have laughed. I too was calling for the man's head when we lost to Italy, but my goodness, what a turnaround! What a turnaround! If they have to knock it off, it has to be the team of the season. It's got to be, unless Scotland happen to win the World Cup, I suppose. But
well, I think most pundits are saying, David, that Italy are the team of the season because of what they've done. They've beaten England.
Possibly, yeah, that's a fair point, Norrie.
But here's the thing, David. I'll stick with you on this one because Italy have won both their home games against Scotland and England, and Scotland have won both their home games. Is it a more difficult challenge for the team in the Six Nations to win an away game? We've done it against Wales, but we just scraped over. The Irish are a different proposition. Does that work against us, or can it work for us?
I would think you're possibly correct, but Scotland, you just never know. I mean, they could. The problem is the timings tomorrow. They could win tomorrow, and then we have to wait for the last game, and it could all be taken away from us.
Yeah.
Who knows?
That's
lovely to be in the position we're in, though. Fantastic, especially after the first game. Absolutely fantastic.
Exactly. Glenn, I'll bring you in. Would second place be a good result for Scotland in the championship?
Oh, absolutely. We've never finished second since it was the Six Nations. And if we finish second, that means we've won the Triple Crown. We've not won the Triple Crown in a very long time as well. So you mentioned, like, are we doomed to failure? Look, the title's out with our control. Okay,
yeah.
We can only go to Ireland and we can win. And if we play really well, possibly the bonus point. Okay, that's all in our hands. So we're not doomed to failure. We win. If we beat Ireland, we win the Triple Crown. That is we all want the title now because our expectations have been raised. Okay, but we walk away with a Triple Crown and a second place. That is big improvement. But we want the title.
Of course it's
you just touched on David about the fact that we're going to play our game and then we've got to wait and see how it all goes. And there's a really strange scenario. I don't think ever in the history of Scottish sport, if we win with a bonus point, will there be so many Scots people cheering on England to do them a favour? It's going to be it's going to make for a very interesting Saturday night, and I hope we do the business and we line it up nicely for a grand storming like finish.
Well, do you know this? A lot of the Irish are saying we need to nullify Finn Russell. We need to stop him from being creative, stop him playing. That was the French tactic as well. It failed. That was the Welsh tactic. It failed. And I remember Simon Zebo, they played together for Racing 92. And he says, when he played for Ireland, he says, how do you stop Finn Russell? And they put a guy called CJ Stander up his channel. There was CJ Stander was a South African rock, and he played for Munster. And he was up against Finn Russell playing for Glasgow at that time. And he says, Finn Russell just tackled him and emptied him. This giant of a monster. So you can't. Finn Russell can tackle. He's got a heart of a lion. You cannot nullify him. And here's the thing that the stats from the French game. It's all very well, Chris, making a few tackles in the first 10 minutes. But see, to do that for 80 minutes, that's what Scotland did. The French were up and they were tackled again in the 78th minute. They couldn't move. And Scotland were on them. And I'm just wondering, have we left too much behind? Have we got any power left? Any energy left after that?
I mean, momentum's the best energy you can get, really. To be honest, I mean, all these plays as well, all the defending, you get to know each other really, really well when you're doing that. So for me, defending's tiring and all the rest of it. But when you've got guys like Scoomer getting tries, you know what I mean? It's obviously a team game, but when you've got him piling in the points and Russell just kicking like a demon, then it's absolutely within our hands to do it. And I'll just repeat, the time and time again in the past, the discipline's just let us down for scrums and all the lineouts and all the rest of it. And then the guys getting booked and all the rest. You're shaking your head. So they seem, to be honest, I think more than anything, just keep the discipline. And I mean, Ireland struggled against Wales, so it's absolutely there for us to win, I think.
It is. David, the French thought Biela Barret, the wee winger with the scrum cap, they thought he could win the games for him because he's always in the wing. But it was Scotland that nullified him and blocked his channel. He had to run round the whole park trying to get a space, and he couldn't find one. They didn't realise Scotland could raise their game to that. And I'm just wondering, can we raise it again tomorrow against the Irish? Because they don't have star players anymore, and they're an aging team.
I think we can, because we've got one chance at this in a generation, maybe a generation and a half, maybe 2 generations. Who knows? Yeah, they've got to raise the game. It might not be good enough at the end of the day because of the time difference, but I think they'll definitely raise the game. Win, lose or draw, they'll raise the game. Yes.
Glenn, I've seen them up close in the scrum. I think Chris has mentioned it earlier that everyone's rock solid. Once you get that scrum and you don't let the opposite team push back against you and you're solid on it, you can make a base from there if you've got the ball. And this Scotland got 3 tries off the base of the scrum. It's going to be a key facet tomorrow, winning the scrums.
Yeah, absolutely. Our scrum was fantastic against France, and which you mentioned before about raising the game. And this is what's different. We actually don't have to raise our game. We have to maintain our game.
Yeah.
Scotland has set a new standard. They have actually rocked one of the powerhouses of world rugby. That's what France were. France were the absolute nailed-on favourites. France had never been behind in any Six Nation match until they played us. Okay, we were clinical. The amount of points that we took when we went into their 22, and this is what we have to be again. When we come up against Ireland, Ireland will be different. So we have to maintain the level that we reached. Okay, but we do have to change it. Ireland will be more physical. They'll try and suffocate us. They'll try and play the game that they want us want to play. They'll try and nullify our threat and our attack. We've got a world-class attack, but we have to find a way to actually unpick them like we did against France. France are more open than Ireland will be. It's going to be a different type of game, okay? But we've got the resources to do it. We've got a few injuries, and he's made a few calls with Williamson, etc. But he's got it right so far. And you touched on earlier about the vital bonus point that we got against Italy in the first match. But you have to add in, we've actually played 4 matches, and every single match we've got a bonus point.
Correct.
Correct. And that there is a belief in this team. Now, can they make have the same amount of effort 2 weeks in a row? It's a big ask. And you said before about going away is there home advantage? There's always home advantage, especially in Test rugby. If you look at how they hand out the ranking points, it's the gap between the 2 countries in rankings, but the home team get 3 points added on. So there's more, it's 3 points more valuable for them. And then if you win, you get the divider of the 2 kind of thing. So, an away team gains a lot more in the world rankings if they win. So all over the world, it's harder to win away. But we can do this. We're not the favourite. We're the underdog. And I think that'll suit us.
I think it might. Chris, all over the world, even in New Zealand, Australia, South Africa, they're all glued to the Six Nations. All the podcasts from all the rugby commentators are going mad about this. It's the best Six Nations in years. And they're worried that Scotland might have to rely on England to do them a favour. But with the players we've got and the tries we scored against France, the switch played from Steen. He ran in the wrong direction when he got a pass from George Turner that switched the ball, and he ran diagonally back the way. That's not a new trick, but it's a new trick to Scotland at that point because they're expecting a drift going across. And it's what's in front of you look at and how This is players. This isn't coached. And I think that's the secret about Scotland. When you play what's against you, not what you've been coached as to play, Scotland play better in that kind of broken play, if you like.
I mean, I always do the unexpected if you can. I absolutely agree with that. And as far as the rest of the world looking on, I mean, it's obviously England were nailed themselves on before they even started, but that's a given every year. So I think that with the way it's turned out, Scotland losing the first game to Italy, then in the way we've come on from then, it's, you know, that's the stuff of these daft Disney films. So it's all there for us to play for. But yeah, I think the unexpected is definitely something that's going to help us, because out of all the teams I've watched, we seem like the ones that are more likely to do stuff like that. You know, and again with the Darcy Graham, just constantly thinking and revising what you can do, and sometimes what you shouldn't do. We just seem to have the element of surprise just now, and hopefully that'll produce some spades tomorrow.
David, one of the things, one of the box of tricks that Finn Russell's got is when he uses his hands in the pass, he doesn't put any effort into a 15-yard pass or a 4-yard pass. Yeah. And it confuses those that are against him, because if he puts his hands there, they know it's the big one going across. But he doesn't. He's got the power in his shoulders to just put the ball across. And that, if you second guess that means you're in no man's land. And I think this is what we've got to utilise in the match tomorrow.
Absolutely. The man's hands, if he's a boxer, you'd talk about the speed of his hands.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, you would.
I remember that one-handed palm thing. I'm thinking, what are you doing? And then the result.
I know.
It must be a nightmare to play against. I've never played professional rugby, strange enough, but God, it must be an absolute nightmare.
Do you know, his teammates at Bath say he's always looking at on his PC, looking at moves and his own performance and judging it and how to get better, where he was in attack or where the forwards were pressing against him. He's got to take the hits. The amount of hits that guy gets after he's passed the ball, and he doesn't do any work in the gym, by the way, and you can tell. And he eats sweeties before the game, all the things you're not supposed to do. He's kind of like anathema to rugby. Maybe that's how he does it.
No, he can hit the guy when he's passed the ball. It's too late by then. He must just take the hit and laugh.
Yeah, he does. He does. But his body takes a hell of a battering.
Sure. Of course it does.
And if you don't go to the gym, you don't build up your muscles. How does he? It's up there. It's between his ears.
Yes.
It's the mentality of the guy. You know?
He's got a rugby intelligence, basically.
Yes, Glenn. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So on that, Glenn, we've got Darcy Graham, the pocket rocket. They don't know what he's doing. He hardly knows what he's doing himself. You've got Kyle Steyn bombarding through. We don't need Duhan van der Merwe anymore. We've got Kyle Steyn. He can go up for the high ball and catch it. There's no way past us. And the Irish will be looking for any gap they can find. And do you know the best thing against France? We had a great defence. Apart from the last 10 minutes when we'd won the game and they got 2 tries, which might be to our detriment.
And they should have had a guy sent off.
Yes, they should have. I'm just going to get to that. This is deliberate gouging of the eyes. Glenn,
he's got a 4-match ban now.
Yeah, but why didn't the VAR see that?
I know. The referee you can understand missing.
Yeah.
VAR should see that,
Or the TMO in rugby, they call it.
Yeah.
The television monitoring office. So he should have saw that and should have brought it back because it was on the big screens in the stadium.
Yeah.
Now, well, I don't know if these guys are in the stadium, they're in a van somewhere, but they still look at the pictures coming in. Why did they not send that man off? And then they might not have got their last 2 tries.
Exactly. And if they don't get the bonus point,
Yeah.
Because it was before they got the bonus point try, then everything would be different for this weekend. It would still be in our hands.
Yes, it would.
Because we would be 1 point ahead.
So where do we stand in this then? The RFU, the WRU, the World Rugby Union, and we don't know who's behind it and how they make the rules up. But they send out all these missives to all the different nations about how they play. But who are they? Why on earth does that man not get sent off? What is the point in the TMO then if you can't spot that obvious? I mean, you're taking somebody's eye out, for goodness sake.
To be fair, in my opinion, I think that I'd say rugby do it miles better than football. I've got more faith in them. They're normally more consistent. There are a few errors, but it's a lot less. But then again, I'm not watching the Premiership or the club rugby week in, week out. I'm watching a handful of international test matches. So maybe it's not as good with that. I don't know. But my general impression is they get most of the decisions right, and they introduced the TMO long before football had it, and the respect, the decisions are explained, the players listen, etc. It is miles better normally, but this was a big call, and Scotland have been affected before with big calls like this, and against France as well. So it's quite frustrating.
Well, we got a free kick against us against Australia in the semi-finals of the World Cup.
Yeah.
Greg Lawson was saying, Greg Laidlaw was saying that even now he's almost greeting when he thinks of that stupid mistake, and the referee had to run off the park.
I remember it. Yeah, he legged it.
Yeah, he legged it, and you're just wondering, is it betting shop stuff? I don't know, but you can't do that to a team and give other teams a free hit. It just doesn't make sense. I'm going to go around you now, Chris. Is it a win for Scotland, or is it a failure at the last?
I know we can do it, so I'll go for it. Aye, I'll go for it. Yeah.
Would you take a 1 point win?
Look, for me, obviously, you can't really fast forward into the future, but Triple Crown in the bag and a consistent performance next season as well. For me, it's all about consistency. So I would rather take a Triple Crown this year and consistency next year rather than winning the championship and just falling apart next year.
Aye.
That's a long answer, short question.
It's a good answer. David, do you think we can do it?
Yes, and I'm with Chris. I think that's a very valid point. But yes, I think Scotland will win tomorrow. Who knows what happens thereafter?
Do you think it'll be similar to the Wales game we had, like an arm wrestle, or will it be more again the England game where we kind of used the backs to?
No, I think it'll be a tough game. A tough game. Yeah.
Glenn, what are you thinking? Are you thinking, let's do them in, we can do this by a bonus point at least?
Well, that's it. See, you mentioned, winning by 1 point. I'll take that as a bonus point if we run a tries and kind of thing. I really believe that Scotland will start fast. They have to start fast.
Yeah.
They can't allow Ireland to dictate the game as they normally do when we go across there, kind of thing. Thing is, Ireland know we'll try and start fast. So they're going to try and suffocate us quickly and really impose themselves. But that aside, I think we'll do it. I really do. I'm betting your $5 on it, Norrie.
This $5's going a long way, isn't it? I'm going to tip Scotland, and I'll tell you why. Because Ben White can box kick into space, and Kyle Steen can gather and collect. He can make a menace of himself. That will unsettle the Irish. And I also think that Darcy Graham's got a key role in this if he's fit. He can take a run and do mazy runs and create past the gain line. We're great at passing the ball. Our forwards, the only problem I think we might have is we've got Gregor Brown's missing. I think Max Williamson's been brought in.
Mm-hmm.
He's no slouch. To my astonishment, Josh Bayless hasn't been included in this team. But we do have, and I'm glad to say this, Kyle Rowe, Glasgow, fullback. He could be a game changer, and he's proven it. He's an exciting player, and he knows his way to the line if we're in trouble. But if Kinghorn plays to his best, and those mazy runs taking the ball up, he's a hard man to stop. Well, then we've got a game. The only thing that most people are saying, it's going to be snowing and it's going to be rainy at Dublin tomorrow. This won't be good for that slick passing because the ball's going to be wet and the ground's going to be wet. So it might have to be that arm wrestle that we had against Wales. If that's the case, it'll be a slight win for Scotland. If the sun comes out, it'll be a handsome win for Scotland, I think. We're just in that mood. We've got the best back line ever in world rugby, so they're saying in South Africa and New Zealand. This is the best back row ever, and we take it for granted because it's Scottish. But I'm going for a good win for Scotland. But if it's an arm wrestle, we could be clogged down a wee bit. But I'll take the Triple Crown.
Oh, totally. Sorry, history makers, not heartbreakers.
Exactly, Glenn. Exactly.
Brilliant.
Can we get a next question, Glenn? Before we start on to-
Absolutely. We're about to talk about the Aberdeen manager. So oddly enough, I've got a question about the Aberdeen manager. New Aberdeen manager Stephen Robinson played. Once played centre mid for Luton Town.
Yeah.
Under which manager, who was a former Aberdeen striker?
Ooh.
Mark McGee?
No.
Steve Archibald? No.
No.
An Aberdeen striker?
Yeah.
There was a manager with Luton
for 2 seasons.
and he managed Luton.
Yeah. So he was the new Aberdeen manager's manager. He was his centre mid for him every week.
Well, where do you come up with this stuff?
I feel really bad.
No idea. Brilliant question.
I don't Oh, I should know this. Leave it with me, Glenn, and we'll get back to it. Have you got ideas,
right.
Chris? Chris, have you got an idea?
Well, Jim Bett was a midfielder, wasn't he? So it couldn't be.
Yeah. A striker.
Yeah.
It wasn't Duncan Shearer, Frank McDougall, Joe
Was it that
Harper.
boy,
It was none of
Eric?
them.
Is that boy Eric that scored that goal? Eric
Black.
Eric Black.
No,
He was a
you're right
manager.
again. No, it's not him.
Okay,
No,
fair enough.
he wasn't a striker.
Right, you're wrong.
Was he not? Well, he scored a goal. May as well have
He
been
was
a
a striker. He was a winger striker. He was, yeah. He went to
Was he?
Met, and he retired early with a bad back.
Aye.
With 27, real shame. Good player.
Yeah.
For Scotland.
Come back to that one. I was going to go into the Celtic Rangers thing because that's the dominant story. But we'll keep that going. We'll go into Aberdeen in a minute. Chris, there's a lot been said about this. It was a contentious game. It wasn't the best of games, but it was full of incidents. And then it went to penalties. And then Celtic won at the Copeland Road end where the Rangers fans were. And they got angry at this because their team, let's face it, that was their best chance of silverware and it's now gone out the window. And then we had these guys in masks coming onto the pitch. And now the official police report was both sets of fans were to blame. Can you reconcile that with me, please?
Well, no, I mean, obviously you win, right? And I mean, I predicted they'd win because, they weren't able to do it last time at Ibrox. No, a bit of exuberance coming on, but I think a few Celtic fans sneaked in before the game, so that wasn't too good, and there was a bit of vandalism, so I don't agree with any of that. But the sort of hijinks coming on and staying within 12 yards of the touchline or whatever, they shouldn't have done it, but certainly it was polar opposite to these clowns putting on masks and starting to run and then eventually waddling by the time we got to the other end of the pitch and not really knowing what to do. It was a bit like Strachan after he scored in the World Cup. You know what I mean? He had no idea what was going on. So there was the flares getting flung and all the rest of it. So that was really ridiculous. The other bit was just hijinks, and they stayed well within their they shouldn't have done it, right, but they stayed well within their the 12 yards or whatever, so yeah, it was just it wasn't both fans reacting in the same way, but of course the cops take an easy out, don't they?
Yeah, they do. David, the stewards were blamed for not controlling the crowd. The police were blamed for not keeping the Rangers fans in. Is that a problem with our football? The stewards aren't equipped for it. They're just ordinary people with vests on.
Absolutely. I can only comment on stewards at Easter Road, and they're on minimum wage, and they don't.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say they don't care. That's maybe a bit strong, but they're not equipped. They're not trained. They're just there, and whoever in Scotland thinks there's not going to be a problem with a Rangers Celtic game of that magnitude needs their heads examined.
Exactly. But David, I remember Aberdeen last season or season before, we beat Ross County with a Nisbet goal in the last second, and the fans came on. But there was nothing done about it. The fans pushed them. The team pushed the fans back in and started celebrating again. But in a Celtic Rangers game, that's different. When you go onto the Rangers turf, it's almost like the Rangers fans get upset at that. This is our grass, get off. Pathetic stuff.
Well, I don't know if you've heard the songs they sing, Norrie, but they don't sit on the fence really. And if I go back to the last big pitch invasion in 2016, that investigation went on for 16 months.
Yeah.
I think this investigation will last about 16 hours, I would think.
Yeah. Well, that's a good point, Glenn, because both clubs didn't say anything about this
until today.
Till today.
Yeah.
So if you don't recognise you've got a problem within your club, who's running these clubs, and should there be a change of guard at these clubs?
Yeah, look, it's weak leadership, isn't it? It's weak leadership, and the fans. I mean, you mentioned before about the stewards, and David said minimum wage, etc. But these guys are instructed not to do this. Okay, yes. They can't put their lives on the line or serious injury, etc. They shouldn't be expected to. These are grown adults that are going to a football match with children and singing songs. And there's the disrespect all round by both sides. I mean, okay, the pitch invasion was largely Rangers, but the Celtic fans before that as well. They stormed the turnstiles. Now we've been critical before of other sets of fans that have done that. Listen, when you're presented with weak leadership like this at club level, it took them an entire week almost before they actually said it's not acceptable. It took the police to come out and say that they were disappointed that the clubs hadn't actually said anything about the behaviour. So you're saying the investigation took so long last time. What the SFA need to do, they won't, but what they need to do is just have a review, a very quick review, and say, if anybody invades the pitch, it's points deductions.
Yes.
That stops it straight away.
It does.
It may happen once because they don't believe that they'll actually enforce it. But you turn around and you say, like, if you invade the pitch kind of thing, you either forfeit the 3 points or there is just a 3-point deduction kind of thing. It would knock it on the head because the fans themselves would not allow anybody else to get on the pitch.
I totally agree, Glenn. Yeah, I totally agree. Following Sunday's match, this is a message from Celtic. The club has taken time to review matchday events, and today Celtic's interim chairman Brian Wilson. How the hell does he get a gig at Celtic?
I think he's right religion.
Aye, but who is he? He's an ex-Labour politician.
He's a field Labour MP.
Yeah. So what's he doing? What's his football knowledge? But this is what he's got to say. The club has concerns, or would we do, about access arrangements prior to the game and had raised a number of these in advance of the game. We have since met representatives of the Celtic Supporters Association who reinforced serious concerns on grounds of safety, which we will address with Police Scotland, the SFA and Rangers Football Club. So the Celtic board are saying it's nothing to do with us, it's Rangers. Chris, that is just shoveling the blame onto somebody else.
Well, I mean, Rangers fans, they reacted wrongly, but they did react to them coming on the pitch. I mean, I think the stewards should get some sort of spidey gadgets they can just deploy, like webs or something like that on the halfway line to get these guys.
Tasers.
Get these, not just webs, so the wee spidey guys can't go up. But I would say, in the main, it's daft being heads, right? There was a couple of older guys getting lifted. I mean, what an embarrassment. But in the main, it is. I've got a couple of pals that school teachers and that, and we're saying, yeah, they know a couple of the boys, So it is, in the main, it is wee heads, but they're just creating bad publicity on the back. It wasn't. I thought it was an entertaining game, to be honest. It had the whole box office thing going on, so I quite enjoyed it. But yeah, in the main, it's just wee guys. But you can't really. The first thing I would do is say, yeah, we were responsible for something. Our guys come on, jubilant, whatever. They shouldn't have reacted. But essentially, you admit your part in it because you don't know whether the Rangers fans will come on. You don't know. They might have, but you've encouraged that in a way. Plus the jump over the turnstiles and some of the the usual vandalism.
There was a bit of vandalism.
It's pathetic, really.
Listen, Rangers have come to Pittodrie and ruined the seats. I've seen it with all my own eyes. David, Celtic took their penalties well, and I think Rangers hit the bar, went over the top. It was calm nerves by the Celtic team to win that game.
Well, it sure was. Given the amount of penalties Rangers get, you think they would stick 4 away, no bother.
I know.
Glenn, just going back to your point, if I may, I think the aggravation happens that I agree with your points about points deduction, but the aggravation happens at a cup game. So there's no question they're going to get a points deduction on a cup game.
Oh yeah,
And
that's true.
I just wonder if that's what they keep it all. Let's wait for the cup game and then do all this stuff, whatever happens, and then we don't get a points deduction.
I think it was purely because it's the first time they'd had a full allocation, so it's always an intense rivalry anyway. But suddenly you had normally you've got a 700 to 1,000 in the ground from the away section, okay, and this time you had 7,000, and it just the energy inside it. I mean, they just ruined it for themselves. You bet your bottom dollar this will not happen again as far as a large allocation for away fans. They've ruined it because they can't behave.
No chance. But Laurie, going back to your point, I think the Celtic boys stuck the penalties away pretty well, to be fair.
See, they're down the Rangers' end. There's a whole load of people shouting and booing at them. You've got to hold your nerve.
Can you imagine
and
the pressure?
Every penalty that went in went right into the nets. That takes guts, honestly. And a big shout out, Glenn and Chris, because we're Aberdeen supporters. But Liam Scales, ex-Don, now captain of Celtic, played outstanding football. I saw it when he was at Aberdeen. He could pass. He had a pass rate of something like 98% from where he was to forwards. He's that good. He keeps that good.
He keeps it simple. He keeps the passes simple.
Correct.
There's a lot to be. He isn't a Christoph Fire. He's not going to run 45 yards and World Cup breaking passes. Know that. But I think he knows his limitations and he's trying to improve himself. But McGregor was badly missed in that game. As I was saying to one of my pals, he sort of thinks 3 mistakes ahead his teammates, and that's the way he goes into a game. So he was badly missed.
Yeah.
If I may say, I'm not a big Liam Scales fan, but I thought he was fantastic on the day. Absolutely outstanding.
And he had to step up, because they were missing a few very senior boys.
Well, I can tell you, David, that visiting Pittodrie, I've seen the guy up close, and when he scored that fluke goal against Rangers, he tried to cross it and it went into the net.
35 yards, past McGregor.
He etched his name in my head for life. He's a good player. I love him. And he's got red hair. That's another good sign.
I mean, Rangers should have won. Let's face it. I mean, the chances. They were the better team.
Yeah, aye. But they didn't, Chris. And Celtic found something from somewhere, and that's what good teams do. Now we're getting on to the Aberdeen manager, Glenn.
Sorry, I went early.
The thing is, Glenn, I was totally underwhelmed when they went for this guy. But now I'm starting to come round to maybe this is we can get a bounce off this, and maybe we can get a new direction. He's given interviews. He's come out well. I think he's glad to be up at a bigger club than St Mirren, etc., etc. But he still has to work with those players.
Yeah. Oh my God! So I think from my post as well on Facebook that I was extremely disappointed. I think I said, "My God, this news has ruined my morning." Look, but the thing is, for most Aberdeen fans, all the dialogue that was coming out of Pittodrie was how we were waiting to get the right man. We had 4 candidates, etc. We were scouring Europe. We'd identified them with blah, blah, blah. It might take a bit longer. Fans be patient. So the expectation was something completely different. If you're going to go for Stephen Robinson, you should have went for him right at the start. He was, he was there. His track record is decent. Obviously, you have a bit of a concern that we got Goodwin in similar circumstances, right. And he said, the first thing I'll do is sort out the defence, and it's the last thing he did, never got sorted. But, if you step back, cold light of day, he's not having a great, I say he's not having a great season. In the league, he wasn't having a great season with St Mirren. Had an excellent season in the Cup, semi-final of the Scottish Cup, won the League Cup. The 3 previous seasons with very threadbare resources at St Mirren, 3 consecutive top 6s, took them into Europe, at Motherwell, 2 cup finals, same season. Got beat by Celtic both times. Now we've got experience of that. We know exactly how that. That time Celtic were in their pomp. They were beating everybody. So he, if he gets it right, and he can get it right. It's just I don't think he's going to have the immediate effect that fans will expect. I mean, this weekend is going to be very interesting. I think you'll see an increase in the effort. That's awful that you actually say that because they're professional footballers. But if you watch that game last weekend, that game against Dunfermline, and that's what broke the stick kind of thing. Yes, the last straw there. The Aberdeen board said, no, we have to act because this is the way we're playing. We're going, we can easily go down. Playoff place, and if you come up against the likes of, I don't know, Partick Thistle in their pomp or whatever, somebody that's really up for it kind of thing and up for a fight, there's no fight in that team.
No.
So I think you'll see big increase in effort this weekend. And then let's really start judging him the following weekend. It's too early. I've seen some outlets saying like, "Oh, he's the manager in the spotlight, etc." He's not had time. He said he'll have had a day and a half.
That's all. Chris, does this tell you more about the Aberdeen board and their pathetic nonsense of how? I mean, if we go back in recent history, Glenn mentioned Jim Goodwin, and I've never had a manager who I've really despised than Goodwin because of the decisions and the substitutions and the formations and how he explained a loss. Just garbage, man, But before that, Glass, Robson, who was the English coach that came up? The deadbeat.
Warnock.
Warnock.
Pantomime Queen. Aye.
It stinks of putting a sticking plaster over the real issues. Cormac should go and go now, should he not?
Well, what got me was, they're bringing in these potential guest managers or whatever, as guests every other week, and you're just thinking, what is going on here? Like, is this guy just coming up here to get a free ticket or something? You just to go for that, then to suddenly go, all right, jump on a megabus, Robinson, up you come, mate. I don't know, but for me, like, look at what they're doing. They won the cup, and then they more or less, they were doing okay. They won the cup and then they collapsed. So more or less like Tulane, except a wee bit better. But the thing is, so you hear the quote. I feel in the last 10 years, my work speaks for itself in terms of European adventures with Motherwell St Mirren. Top 3 finishes with Motherwell. Top 6 finishes 3 times in a row, and cup runs and semi-finals. You're like, yeah, but league-wise, you haven't done any of that this year. So you could say he's been employed based on that pedigree falling off, really. So I do agree that the Dunfermline game where Aberdeen came out fighting and they looked as if they scored, they might go on to win it quite handsomely, and then it just turned round. So, yeah, Cormac must have said, right, enough's enough. But he'll get Endeavour, but, I could probably turn up and say, right, lads, go for it. So I don't know. I'm not convinced, but they will get Endeavour and more effort. But against Falkirk, it's like, yeah, well, you need more than that to beat them. So I don't know. I'm not convinced. That's
David, this guy, Luf Fanenstyle, he's the sporting director at Aberdeen. He was brought in because he'd worked at different clubs, big clubs, and he'd got a good recruitment process. It turns out he knows nothing about Scottish football, because if he had, when Aberdeen first took on Peter Levine as the interim manager, he would have been set to work. And how did they know he had a clause in his contract? If they knew it now, why didn't they know it back then before they gave Peter Levine the caretaker job? And secondly, a lot of fans are saying, why didn't we get John McGlynn? He's a proven track record. He's worked at Celtic. He's done wonders at Falkirk. He'd be a good fit for Aberdeen. No. So what's this? Would the real Lutz Fanenstyle please stand up? What is your job, mate? Are you a waste of money?
Yes, I think it's potentially a waste of money. I'll just diverse for a second. Jim Gooden's got a lovely soft spot at Easter Road because Aberdeen sacked him after that famous 6-0 victory. But ignoring that, I feel for Aberdeen because Steve Robinson, I think, is potentially a good manager. He just needs to find the right team. The problem is he's run out of teams in Scottish Premiership to do it. John McGlynn deserves a definite step up from it, because the guy is just worked possibly miracles. I mean, but the thing is, the big teams, and I probably include Hibs in that, if that's a big team, but they wouldn't touch him with the Barsford because of who he is. They wouldn't touch Martindale for the same reason. But the thing is, McGlynn has produced result after result after result. What more is he, back to back? I mean, I don't know what more he's got to do. I really don't. But I suspect he will not get a better job, and it's a real shame. I hope Stephen Robinson is. I really do. I hope he's the right fit for Aberdeen, because I think he's got a good job in him somewhere.
Yeah.
Because I think he's a definite winner. But the thing is, with these teams, I think they just get very dirty very quickly, and that's hard to believe. In Aberdeen's going to even dirty even quicker than we are at the moment. But anyway, he's got a fair striker, Kevin Nisbet, as I keep saying. So
yes, he has.
Hopefully, he'll do enough to get you away from where you don't want to be.
Glenn, do we need to clear out of players? Have we got a lot of dead wood in that team that needs cleared out, that we can't utilise either? Because I got the feeling that even Jimmy Talleen didn't know his strongest team, and Peter Levine didn't know, and he couldn't impart the knowledge onto them. They don't have the footballing brain. He even came out and said, we don't have the quality in this club. Now, that's a bad indictment of your players. Now, Peter Levine's no slouch at a coach. He knows what he's doing, and he knows how to win games. He's proven that. But if you're constantly telling these group of players to do X, Y, and Z, and they're doing A, B, and C, leaving gaps, trying to play the offside role, giving spaces, this is schoolboy stuff against Dunfermline, Isn't this a case going back to Cormac again and saying, you're not even at Aberdeen, you're in America somewhere. How can you be a proper chairman operating from over there when you haven't a clue what's going on?
Yeah. Look, I think Cormac deserves some kind of criticism for he's appointed these managers, and most have been complete failures. So let's level that at him. Lutz as well. Oh my God, the Penguin Whisperer. He had a dispute on social media. He basically said to an Aberdeen fan that if you don't shut up, it's not going to go the way you like it, and it's going to end up in court. You think, you know what? You are a director of football at a rather large club in Scotland. You should not be arguing online, very late online as well, with your fans. So I don't know about him. As for the quality of player, I think that maybe the recruitment's been bad. In a sense that, well, not maybe, it has been bad, but they went for players with, they tried to think, oh, he's undervalued, etc. We could bring them in, but they've not went for players that can actually play the Scottish game in the sense that, okay, you've got skill, your technical ability, etc. But is your desire there? Will you run for the 90 minutes? Will you give your all? Will you battle? Will you see if you lose a ball? What's the first thing you do? Try and win it back. Will you go back and battle as well and help defence out? So I think there's a lot of questionable characters within the dressing room. One good point that cheered me up, and it's kind of like flown under the radar of a lot of Aberdeen fans, but we've recently just got Darren Mowbray back. Now, he is the head of recruitment that we had before that went to Southampton. He's responsible for finding Yedder Ramadani, Bojan Miovski, etc. Duke, I know obviously it didn't work out for Duke in the end, but the first season was fantastic. But he's got a really good track record of finding the right kind of caliber of player with normally the right kind of mentality that works in Scotland. His hit rate is much higher than what we've had recently and in the past. So I am encouraged by that.
Yes, I am too. But what role then does Lutz Pfannenstiel have at Aberdeen then, if we've got a guy that can get all these players? Because that's what he was brought in to do, a sporting director.
Yeah. Social media officer.
The sporting director works alongside the manager and alongside the head of recruitment. So I think I don't like it. Okay, you notice that we're saying, oh, new manager for Aberdeen, Stephen Robinson. He's not. He's head coach. It's very European. It's very like continental European kind of thing, or mainland European. But that's what it is. So they're supposed to be like basically Robinson goes to them and says, right, these are the weak areas we have. Okay, this is what we need to, these are the type of players we need to fill the gaps. We need a versatile, maybe we'll play 2 positions, blah, blah, blah. I need to strengthen this. And then they're supposed to go and find them between the two of them and then bring them. And then they sit at the table and they then say, okay, we should approach these ones. So it's supposed to be a joint thing.
Yeah, I get that. I think it's a lot. It's crowded up there in that boardroom and in that payroll. And you know what? We should do some work on the stadium, perhaps. With the money that comes in, with the crowds we've got. Maybe get some new players. There's a lot of wastage in that club, I always think, and it's not always going into the right places. Yeah. Listen, we'll have to move on. Glenn, is there another question?
Would you want to answer first?
Yeah.
The question was, right, new Aberdeen, I'll change it now, head coach Stephen Robinson once played centre mid for Luton Town under which manager who was a former Aberdeen striker? Now, I'll give you a clue, because you went through quite a lot of names. This striker used to play for Blackburn Rovers, but he left because he went down the pecking order to Sutton and Shearer and all these kind of guys, and then he went to Luton Town, and then he went up to Aberdeen,
So he couldn't get in the team for Duncan Shearer?
No, Alan Shearer.
In
Blackburn Rovers, yeah. So he was playing in the English Premiership, and he scored. I think he scored 12 in his first season in the Premier League. So he's decent caliber, and Aberdeen paid good money for him. His initials are M for mother, N for no. MM.
Striker for Aberdeen. English.
The first Englishman to score a hat-trick in the Champions League.
Striker. I'm going through all the strikers in my head for Aberdeen.
He was a good player. Jet black hair. I don't know if he's still got it now, like.
Jet black hair. Doesn't shorten the odds. Chris, any idea? MN.
Rules out Stevie Crawford. No.
But it's a good start. He was the first Englishman to score a hat-trick in the Champions League.
That's a great start.
Oh. MN.
Right. First name.
Michael.
Mike, yes.
Mike Nolan.
No.
Mike Newman.
No.
Mike Newell.
You're going through all the music, aren't you? The Nolans, the Newmans.
Mike Newell.
It's Newell.
Mike Newell. That's it, David. Yeah.
David got that one. He got
that. You said Blackburn. It came back to me. Mike Newell. He was a fair player.
I'll give you the next question, okay?
Yeah.
He was a good player, just a couple of seasons for Aberdeen. Anyway, so Dunfermline manager Neil Lennon has won plenty of honours as a player and a manager in Scotland. But in which other European country did he manage a club to victory in their national cup competition?
Cyprus.
Chris?
Well, I need to say Cyprus. No, I would have had no idea.
You just copied us.
No, I wouldn't have got it. No.
Okay, guys, you are spot on. Bonus point. Which club?
Nicosia.
One that plays in green and white.
I think he is green and white, yeah.
Nicosia.
No.
Larnaca.
No. Good guess. No. Omonia. Nobody's getting that.
We didn't got that. Right. Let's go on to the fixtures for this week. I've got them, by the way, on the screen beside me. Aberdeen Falkirk. Chris, start with you. Falkirk just playing beautiful football. Aberdeen still in disarray. New manager bounce. How do you see this one going?
Yeah, I think Aberdeen will score, but I think Falkirk is really, really strong. Honestly, the way they're like Barcelona, they're not quite as good as them, but see the way they'll defend for the front. So I think Aberdeen will go for it and they'll see a marked improvement. But I still think Falkirk might run out. Maybe McGlynn will be a wee bit, that he wasn't asked, or maybe he was. Who knows? We don't know. But yeah, I think Falkirk will come out on top against an improved Aberdeen team.
1-0, 2-0, 2-1.
2-1, I'd say.
2-1. David, how do you see this one going? McGlynn's still on fire. He's got them into the top 6.
Same as Chris. I think Aberdeen will be much better, but Falkirk, I think they could be anyone at the moment. Literally, that could be anyone. So I think they probably have too much. And 2-1. I don't think Mr. McGlynn will worry too much about not being offered the job. I think he's quite a thick-skinned character, and he must be loving life at the moment.
He must be. Yeah.
Wow.
He must be. Glenn,
It's quite
I
worrying.
can't see Aberdeen winning this one. Even at home, I can't see it.
Not I. It's too early, and they're too good. I think we've all really enjoyed watching Falkirk. Young Scottish kid attacking, good play. They take the game to anybody. They play the way that it's really entertaining, good style. Aberdeen will be better organised, and there will be more effort, but they'll get beat 2-1. That's 3 of us saying 2-1. What were you on?
2-1. Wow.
Yeah.
2-1. Well,
you think,
there's something in the Inverness papers today about Inverness Caley Thistle doing really well. You may remember that they were up against liquidation, but now they're on top, or they're near the top of their league. And one of the players that's responsible for that is Alfie Babbage. And he was asked, would he go back to Aberdeen? But the Inverness manager wants to sign him. Wouldn't it be a good idea if the guy who's the sporting director had a clue about what Aberdeen's about, got that guy back and started him training in the first team, and look at how he's progressed? He's the top scorer in the division. He's got 20 goals. Yeah,
20 goals, Norrie, this season so far.
Yep.
And Aberdeen has said, prior to obviously the new manager or new head coach, they said he's out contract in the summer, and they said nope, he's released.
See, that's where maybe Robinson might come in and say, wait a minute here. Let's turn that round. Let's get back.
He went to school 4 miles away from me.
He's a local lad as well.
Yeah, Kemney Academy. Yeah, my kids went to school with him.
Well, he's a superstar here in Inverness. Honestly, he's in the papers. He's doing interviews. He's going to go somewhere, and Aberdeen are just letting him go through the thing. When that mentality's at the club right now, Glenn, I can't see them, and I just don't think they deserve to win tomorrow. Do you know that?
It's been there a long time, though. I mean, we've never been good with kids recently. I mean, you go back to the last 10 years, okay? I mean, Milne's come through because he had to, and there's a few other ones that have come through, like Ramsey, etc. because they had to. But if you look at Shankland only ever got 5 or 10 minutes a game under McInnes. It's weird now how McInnes is raving about him, but he wouldn't play him.
Well, I'm going for a Falkirk win. I think it's too early. We've still got the same ragtag players who don't know what position's best for them, and I don't know how they talk to each other. They don't communicate in the pitch. It's not a team. It's just 11 players just picked and then do what you want. It's not good enough to win. Falkirk are much more savvy. Chris said something quite important there. He says they're a bit like the Barcelona. And I was watching Barcelona on telly last Sunday, or Sunday, and when the guys got the ball, 3 go onto him, so he's got no room to move. And when he kicks the ball past him, they all move quickly, and that's what Falkirk do. And see from playing from the back, they play it by the back, and they wait for that gap, and it goes right through. That's how they get their goals. And Barney Stewart and all these other just amazing players. Can't you see Aberdeen doing nothing tomorrow, to be honest?
Picking the ball out the net.
Aye, exactly. Celtic Motherwell, Chris, that'll be a corker. Motherwell went down to Dundee, but I like the way the manager came on and says, they were a really good team. We played really well. Aspects of that game, we played really, really well. Still positive, that manager, the Motherwell manager.
I mean, they had the right crack at it, Motherwell, definitely. And I thought they would eventually end up equalising, but no, I don't think that's going to dent their play or any aspect of them. So I think Celtic's luck, call it whatever you want, tenacity might run out, and they'll get pegged to a draw in this one. I think 1 each.
David, Masmanisi is a fast player. Defenders hate that kind of guy, turning them round. He's got pace and he's got skill.
Scared the life out of me. He rode a few times, that boy. He's really quick. I think Motherwell might win, and I think that Motherwell manager's very positive because I think he knows he's going to be in a better club next year, irrespective of what happens.
Do you think the manager's playing for his career?
No, I don't think so. No, I don't think that. I think he's fantastic, but there's more chance of me being Pope than Motherwell holding on to him. When I'm a Protestant, you know.
Well, I don't know. Sometimes, Glenn, you stick or you twist, don't you, as a manager? Obviously, when things are going on the upward trajectory, you'd be more inclined to stick with that team, I would imagine, wouldn't you?
Honestly, it all depends, isn't it? Who comes in for you? What are you offered? What does the club? We discussed it before. What are Motherwell offering him resource-wise? How can he improve Motherwell beyond what he's done already? Is he going to lift the title with Motherwell? Very, very remote chance. You know, if he's going to do it, it's this season. Kind of thing. You can bet your bottom dollar. Hearts, Celtic, Rangers all strengthen after this season, kind of thing. But he might think to himself, "No, I can't do any more than that, and I don't think we'll do well in Europe." And some big club comes in for him. I don't know. There's talk that Celtic might come for him. You know. So if you're comfortable, you're happy, and you're enjoying yourself, then you stick. But if you're ambitious and you want to go to a bigger club, etc., well then that's what you do. And more often than not, that's what happens. In this one, I just have a funny feeling that game will have actually deflated Motherwell a bit more than people are saying. They were in the title hunt. They are still just. I think this is a must-win for both clubs. A draw doesn't suit either. You know, Celtic have to put the pressure on. Actually, Celtic have to go on a run if they're going to catch Hearts. Hearts will only buckle, I think, if they get put under pressure. Right now, they've got that cushion. You know, and they're knocking games in, and that's without Shankland. So Celtic have to win this. They're at home, and I think last time they went to Celtic Park, Celtic were lucky to beat them. And I think Celtic will be lucky to beat them again. 2-1.
2-1 for Celtic.
Yeah.
I saw Celtic play against Rangers. Thought Rangers should have won the match. They were all over the place. And Motherwell playing that Celtic team I don't know if McGregor's playing tomorrow. If he is, that might balance things out. But if he's not, I think Motherwell can run them ragged. I really do. And I think the Motherwell manager's a better manager now than Martin O'Neill is. I think Martin O'Neill's forgotten a lot of his tricks and his stuff. The manager of Motherwell is a canny guy. Didn't blame his players. Told them they played amazing. Unlucky to lose. We carry on. I love that about a manager. Doesn't blame the referee. Doesn't blame the pitch. Just we were unlucky to lose. That's a great mindset to have to put back to the players. I don't think it will have an effect on them, Glenn. I am going for a Motherwell draw, and who knows? Maybe they could eke a win here and put Celtic's championship bid down a peg or two. I'm going to go out on a limb and say Motherwell 1-0. That's how I'm going. Hibernian Livingston. Chris, what do you make of that one? It's not a glamour tie of any sort, but it's a game of football tomorrow.
Well, I mean, I think Boyle will have to make the most. It's probably one of his last games, but look, I think Bartley's done a wee bit of improvement there since Martindale. You know, obviously he went upstairs. They've got a few draws, but I still think, I don't know if Boyle will go with a swan song, but I still think Hibs will be too strong. Maybe 2-0 Hibs.
Yeah, David, your team. How do you see that one going?
Well, I hope they win. I'm not going to be there because I'm going to the Sunderland Brighton game tomorrow with my neighbour, who's a Brighton fan.
Wow.
But yeah, I would like to think Hibs would have too much, but yeah, who knows? I'd rather see Scotland win than Hibs win.
Me too. I'm Scotland first.
But yeah, who knows? Yeah, it should be a Hibs win, but
it should be a Hibs win.
Take nothing for granted.
But Glenn, we've done these predictions and we say, well, it should be a Hibs win, but something always turns up that proves it's wrong. Is there anything you can see that could maybe turn it around for Livingston?
Yeah, I think Livingston will draw.
Wow.
Yeah, honestly, they've got a lot tighter. They're more organised. They've got a bit of belief, 3 draws in a row, and suddenly the manager will be telling them, look, hey, we might be in a playoff. We might get, we don't actually automatically have to go down here. We've got to play all the bottom 6, okay? And we can, if we can hang in there, then we can't get the points. I mean, there's a real possibility. I mean, I think Killie are on 21 points, so like 7 points. They've got Hearts, so they get a point here. That's 1 more point on them, kind of thing. They don't have to play the top teams anymore. I think they'll get a draw. I think it's not going to be a bonny game.
I think that's right. I think there's going to be rain all over Scotland tomorrow, and that might level things out.
Yeah. I've got 1-1, sorry, from a draw.
Yeah, I'm the same as you, Glenn. I think Livingston aren't a bad team, even though they're at the bottom. Any team is capable of beating any other team, I think, apart from Aberdeen right now. But Livingston seem to be on the way up with their tightness and their prowess in front of goal. They're not getting the luck of the draw. They're hitting posts, hitting bars, and all the rest of it. So I think they've got the firepower to do something to Hibs tomorrow. I'm going to go for a draw as well. I think Hibs, with the crowd behind them, will try and fight back. But I'm taking Livingston to do something. I've just got a funny feeling they'll do something. 1 each for me.
No, maybe the crowd won't be behind them. Maybe the crowd will all be down in England watching Premier League matches.
Touche.
Or on the TV watching Scotland.
Aye, well, that's true. Now, the game on at 8 o'clock, Chris, Kilmarnock v Hearts. Kilmarnock fighting for their lives. There's nothing worse playing a team that are desperate for points. This could be a tougher match than you think for Hearts.
We'll scrap it out. Kelly, no doubt. I mean, McCann, there was a bit about him, and I liked the way he was quite honest in saying that his team had dug him out a hole, but I don't know, it's looking more and more likely that they'll be very least involved in a playoff. So I think Shanklin's still it. Maybe Devlin's back, I'm not sure, but I don't know. When you get guys like Braga that can score for you anyway, I fancy Hearts 2-1.
Yeah, I'm the same. David, do you want Hearts to win to maintain that kind of dominance in Scottish football?
No, clearly I don't want Hearts to win, but inevitably I think they probably will. Quicker Braga goes to Brighton, the better, as far as I'm concerned. I can't see Killie. Well, tell you what, if they did, that's a real coup and buster. But no,
yeah, it would be.
I think Hearts would win relatively easily.
I just think, Glenn, when you're up the top there and you've got a team against at the bottom, you're expected to win. And once the first goal for Hearts go in, you might see a deflation of Killie and an upsurge in Hearts. That's the way football goes. But if Killie get the first goal, you might see Hearts panicking a wee bit. It's a difficult one, isn't it?
Yeah. Look, this is a strange fixture, isn't it? So again, how do Hearts handle the pressure? How does Derek McInnes handle going back to his old club?
Absolutely.
There's going to be a little bit of niggle there. How do they handle playing on an Astro, You're right, Killie are fighting for their lives. They're without Lawrence Shanklin, but they've been without him for a wee while. Braga's key. Braga scored 12 goals, cracking first season. He scored a lot of away goals. But how does Braga play on an Astro? I think he'll do okay, actually, because he was, I think they snapped him up from a second division team in Norway, bound to be playing on Astros up there. Yeah. I don't know. Look, no one saw St Mirren beating Hearts. They've lost twice in the last 6. So all the top 6 have had issues and strange results, etc. I wouldn't be surprised if this was a draw, but I do think Hearts will win it. Probably it's going to be scrappy 1-0.
Well, I think there's some fantastic players in the Hearts team. Even a couple of guys that are being mooted for the Scotland team for the World Cup. By the way, World Cup, if it still goes ahead, because Iran can't go now. And by the way, Diego Maradona, when shaking hands with Donald Trump at a meeting, a celebrationary thing, all the kids in Iran burnt their Messi jerseys. Sport and politics don't mix. I bet you they do. Do you know this? I think Hearts have got Mark Leonard's playing out the skin. Harry Milne is another guy. He played for Partick Thistle. These guys are chapping at the door for the Scotland berth. And I think you could ignore them at your peril. And with that in your team, I think they'll take Killie no problem at all tomorrow. 2-0, maybe even 3. St Mirren Rangers on Sunday. Chris?
Depends what Rangers team turn up, but I think they will definitely a bit deflate it after. It'll be a relief for them to, if there's any seats left in Ibrox, to be playing away. So I don't know. I mean, it's St Mirren. They'll be freed up. This is a free hit for them, so I think they'll trouble. Rangers on a wee bit of trouble just now, so I think it could be a one each draw. St Mirren just going at them because why not?
Yeah, why not? David, Danny Roll's got nothing left to play for. He's got to win the league, or he's got nothing in the cabinet for Rangers. That would be unheard of. He's under pressure, isn't he?
He sure is, but I'm with Chris. I think this could be a draw. I think, this could be a defining moment in the title race.
Can I just say, though, the St Mirren fans have been absolutely gracious that Stephen Robinson's leaving their club. Just looking back in his history and thanking him. That's a high tribute, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's a high tribute.
It depends how many players he takes with him, That's
yeah, that's a good point, Chris. If we start poaching their players. Glenn, they're rudderless, they haven't got a manager. Have they got a shape now? Have they got an identity? What will St Mirren want to do in this match? How will they prepare? How will they take Rangers on?
Look, you know what? They've probably done a lot of their prep already before he left. It was Thursday before he left. They've got clangers, they've got the backroom, same backroom staff. I don't actually think it's going to make too much of a difference or be too unsettling for St Mirren. They're at home. They're going to be hard to beat. I know they've lost a lot of games this season, but in stark difference to Aberdeen losing games, they've been competitive, They've given Rangers a right good game before this season, and they've given Celtic as well. I actually, you look at the form of Rangers, okay? You said that it was unheard of for Rangers to, end the season without a trophy, etc. It's not. It's actually quite commonplace. They're back on the back of their manager. Okay, it's another manager that can't deliver, is what they're saying. He's not good enough for the club. They're not out of the cup again. They've got nothing to play for, kind of thing, bar the title, and they're probably not even thinking they're going to win a title because they're now behind Celtic again. So they're not confident and they're unhappy. St Mirren get a goal, St Mirren frustrate them, kind of thing. Those fans that travel down there are going to get behind, and it's going to be a horrible, toxic atmosphere for the Rangers players. Can they play well? 4 draws in the last 6 games in the league.
Yeah.
No, I don't see it. I think St Mirren will get a point out of this one. I think it'll be 1-1.
I'm the same. I think they'll leak a draw out of it, and they'll take that as a good solid performance against a Rangers team. Rangers flatter to deceive. They play good in the midfield and they can swing passes, but see in front of the goals, they really are. They're a very average, and that's difficult to say to the Rangers fans that are watching. I'm sure Roddy could argue with me, but I, as a neutral, not Celtic or Rangers, and watching that game last week, it was just hitting hope. There really wasn't any structure to get past Celtic and diagonal runs or runs behind. Just look clueless and toothless. I think St Mirren can get a draw easy out of this one. What's the last game? It's gone. Who's playing?
Dundee United. It's the game of the weekend.
Yeah. Do you know this? I watched Chris. I watched Dundee play Motherwell and they beat them 3-2. And I tell you this, I don't know how he's done it, but Stephen Presley has taken a sow's ear and turned it into a silk purse. These players are purring for him. This is a damn good Dundee team. My God.
Metaphors there, aye. You sound like a vet.
It's his sparkling personality has turned it around.
I don't know if he's turned that around. But what do you think, Chris, in that one?
Well, I hope Stephen Presley isn't listening, because I'm going to do probably the first time I've done it this season and predict Dundee for a win. I think they'll keep going. They did enough for Motherwell, which surprised me, but I'm going to go for Stephen Presley's words, the jobby team to win.
David, Dundee Derby could go anyway.
I'm with Chris again. I think Dundee are going to do it, and I think Mr. Presley will take over at Hearts when Mr. McInnes gets a better job offer shortly.
Yeah, that's it. That could be on the cards. Glenn, last one.
I mean, I'm in agreement as well. I think we've mocked Presley, but he's really is turning it around. So I watched the highlights, and they played well. McCracken in goal was he was really outstanding. I thought a couple of great saves. They were lethal. They took their chances well. When it was 1-1, he made substitutions. All three subs combined to score the winner. And I thought he's got quality coming off the bench. Those guys are hungry because they're game changers. They're fighting to get into the team for next week. They know what next week is, and this is next week now. And I think this is going to be a brilliant game to watch. I can only see it going one way. It's Dundee, and it'll be comfortable. They leapfrog Dundee United if they win. Everything's on the table. It's fantastic. It's 3-1 Dundee.
Correct. 3-1. Oof.
Yeah. Packed out Dens Park. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah, I know. I'll be watching that one. Definitely. Dundee, for me, one of the teams of the year, them and Falkirk, and Hearts, of course. But in terms of the lower budget teams, those two are just pulling out their skins right now. Yeah. And it's been transformational, especially Dundee, because Tony Docherty was in a morass. He couldn't do anything with them. And they've tried different things, but now this guy with the strange hair and this sort of just the different mannerisms. If you want a manager that wins you trophies, well, I'm no your man. Hardly imbibe confidence in him. Do you know what I mean? So, but having said all that, I kind of like the guy and I'm beginning to love him, and I love what he's doing with the Dundee team. I think Jim Goodwin hasn't got it. He's not a great manager, right? And I don't know if he can rearrange stuff and do the formations and bring players on that you think can make a change. I think Dundee right now are streets ahead of Dundee United, and I think Dundee will win that match. It's a home game for them. I think they will quite easily. I'll go 2-0, but it'll be a convincing 2-0. There we go. We've overrun our time, by the way, but I've really enjoyed tonight. Good laugh. And hopefully this time next week, folks, we'll be celebrating a Scottish win against Ireland. But for the time being, Chris, David, Glenn, thanks for joining me tonight. We'll be back to do it all again next week. All the way.
Have a good weekend, guys.
Thank you all very much. Appreciate it.
All the best, guys. Cheers now.